Om Shrim Hrim Glim Glom Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Glim Glom Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Glim Glom Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Swaha. Tatpurushaaya Vidmahe Vakrtundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Yam Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Yam Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Yam Gam Ganapataye Varavarada Sarvajanam Me Vashamanaya Swaha. Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakrtundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat.
Hello, good evening. All right, so I wanted to come and talk to you guys about what you can expect when I'm doing spell work for you. Now, when I take a case for you, I have several other clients that I am working with. And the one thing that is important is that once we have established the covenant of the spell work agreement, it is very important. Yeah, it is very important for you to be patient. Okay, that is extremely important. True spiritual work is not done just like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless I am doing something that requires, time is of the essence, which is the court cases and the hex removals. Now, if you come to me and you're trying to save money on spell work, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need. So if you decide, well, I don't want to get that, I just want to get this, then you have to be prepared to deal with, and so do I have to be prepared to deal with the spirits behind your work. So this is not just like I'm going and lighting a candle, especially if I am doing love work for you that involves either a married man or somebody that's with somebody. Okay, and see, here's the thing. You cannot control when your spell work is done. You can't do that. You can't, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer. You know, from the moment we exchange, the moment you exchange the money with me, that is when the work starts, technically. Okay? But it makes no sense for you to treat it like you haven't purchased spell work, because that's what a lot of people will do. Probably about 20% of my clients will do that. And when you do, it only further prolongs your work, is what will end up happening. Because prior to your situation, you had your situation, and then you came to me for a solution. But then when you do something and you actually take that step to do something about the solution, you're still treating the situation as if you've done nothing. You're still treating the situation as if there is a problem. Once you have done the spell work, you do not doubt, have distrust. And if you contact me, you have to understand that I am very busy. I don't care if you see me out in social media. I don't care. I have a life outside of my job. And a lot of people that are in my life, the only way that they can contact me is through YouTube. That doesn't mean that you should feel, you know, unconfident. You know, that doesn't mean that you should lose your confidence in me because of that, because I am a human being and I am a person too. Okay. So when it comes to spell work, your work is going to get done. Okay. You can't just do a love spell on a humbug. And when you're rushing me to do the work, then you may not necessarily like the results that you get, especially if you pay for a breakup and you pay for a reunion. If you get a breakup because you want to break them up from somebody, you're going to have to wait for that energy to clear before you can do the additional love work. You have to. Some people don't. Some people, it only takes about a week or two. Some people, it's called divine timing for a reason. Hey, Beth. Hello. How are you? So, for example, you know, typically my cases can take several months and even up to a year, because I do court cases for people. And I also do hex removals and generational hex removals. Okay. So, first of all, I am a lot busier than I was when I started my business. Obviously, I'm going to grow and I'm going to get more busier. And, you know, when I start to feel negative energy coming from you to where you're just like trying to force me to do your work right now, then you might as well have just done it yourself. You see what I'm saying? So any practitioner that you work with is going to tell you the same exact thing. And you can prolong stuff by either rushing it or either not understanding or being concerned. See, when you do that and you're like, oh, I'm concerned about the work that I'm doing. Well, why are you concerned about it? See, that will start to make me feel very suspectful of you, and that maybe you're reporting back to someone else. That's what I don't like. I start to get really suspicious when I start to sense that kind of energy coming from any of my clients. And it's rare that I feel that. And for some reason this year, you know, aside from my regular normal clients, I've had a couple of new clients. And this is what I want to tell you. All of my spells work. All of them work. Okay. So if you are involving yourself or either paying attention to drama that has nothing to do with your work, okay, then you're not really exactly in that correct headspace for that work to be done. And if you're concerned about your work, then that, in my opinion, is a serious problem. It's a serious problem because what you're doing is you are not trusting in the process. And there is a process. I don't ever just do a ritual. I don't ever just do that. Never. Hey, smarty girl. It does not work that way. This is not, playing cards. This is not Pokemon. This is not, this is not an episode of Charmed. This is real spiritual work that I'm doing for you. In particular, if I'm doing breakup work for you, that's black magic. So we have to do clearing. You have to do clearing when you're doing stuff like that. There are times when I may get your case and I'll work it, but prior to that, I have to sleep for a couple of days. And thank you, smarty girl. I think that some people think that it is, and it's not. And see, my spirits will see you coming with that kind of energy, and things will be delayed. But the only person that's delaying it is you, because you don't have trust. And, whenever I do work for people, I always tell them, get into your hobbies, play some video games. Don't sit and think about your spiritual work every single day. See, obsessive energy has never helped anybody. And see, that is when you are being obsessive, and that can be detrimental to your work. Now, for example, my clients that have court dates coming up, they're very nervous about those court dates, and they paid a lot of money for me to do the work for them. So when they contact me and they say, hey, I've got a court date coming up, I'll throw the cards for them. Sometimes I'll say, hey, everything's going to be okay. And you shouldn't even have to do that, because once I've done the work for you, I do want to know your court dates and everything. Not that I'm saying with that, but if it's other type of work that you're doing besides something that can either result in you losing your life, I have to schedule, I have to place people where they are supposed to be, and another thing is that when you are constantly contacting me and saying, did you do the ritual yet? Did you do the ritual yet? You're trying to rush me, and I don't like being rushed at all. I don't like it. I've always been that way. I've never been the type of person to rush and scurry to a car. I'm really not a pushover. I'm honestly not. And you cannot control when I do the spell for you. You can't. If you think that you can do that, then go see another practitioner, because I'm telling you, they're going to have the same experience, because you are the one that creates all of your experiences. And that's the truth, especially when it comes to spell work, because you can't just go, okay, well, now see, once you paid for the spell, okay, fine, you paid for it. That doesn't mean that it's going to be done necessarily the next day. Okay, that's not what that means. That means that you have secured the spell work, and I am going to do it when the time is right. Now, I don't have people 6 months to a year and I still ain't did their work. Of course not. I do it within the timely manner that it's supposed to be done. So any of you that are thinking about getting spell work from me, you got to understand that I'm doing authentic work. And I'm not just lighting a candle. Okay. There is always the perfect timing for your spell work, and it always gets done at the perfect time. It does. Okay. Even with readings, there are times when I can do a reading for somebody and you'll have one of those spirits that's just sucking and feeding and feeding and sucking. And I'll let you know, hey, you know, I can feel whatever that spirit is that you're talking about, and we're going to have to continue this reading on another day. That happens sometimes. Now, it rarely happens. Rarely does it happen, but it can happen sometimes. It just depends on what's going on. Okay. And so once you have paid for your spell work, once you have consulted with me and you've paid for the spell work, what you need to do is you need to sit back and relax. Why would you even come and pay for spell work if you're just going to do it? If you're just going to do the same exact thing, you're supposed to be confident in what you're doing. You say you keep getting kicked out of the room. I don't know why that is. And you just have to really trust in the process. Love spells can take up to 3 moon cycles to work. Up to 3 moon cycles or more. So if I'm doing other work for you, you got to understand that it's not going to always be done at the exact same time, because you never know what I'm dealing with. And then if I take a couple of days to get back with you, just be patient with me. It doesn't mean that I didn't get your message. It doesn't mean that. It probably means that either I'm taking a day off, I'm resting. That is required for spell work. This is not like McDonald's where you just go and order and then you get what you want instantly. This is not fast food. Okay. Now, if I need to deliver healing energy to you, or if I'm doing a cleanse, those go like that. And see, more than likely, if you are having that problem, I'm going to tell you, hey, you need to get a cleanse. Okay. Another thing is that I cannot negotiate anymore as far as with price. The price is not negotiable. Most of my clients they pay full price for their work. So in particular, if you're negotiating the price of your work, then that means that how much did you really want to put into that? Okay. Okay. So y'all got to understand that this is not bippity boop, bippity bop. No, it's not. When I take a case for you, I'm dealing with everything that you were prior to coming to me dealing with. And there shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be worry. It shouldn't be any of that. Yeah, I've had people negotiate, and those are usually the ones that are very, very, they're very nervous about their work. That happens rarely. That happens rarely, though. And, for me, I'll start, spirit will start saying, what the heck is going on? And then I'm going to suggest that you get a cleanse. Right. It's definitely not a yard sale. And it's not something that you can just, because I'm going to tell you something. Most of my spells are done within a certain amount of time. Most of them. Okay. Because I mainly do a lot of cleanses, a lot of hex removers. Those have to be done within a timely fashion. In particular, if I'm working a court case for you, it has to be done in a certain time. So you're not my only client when you come to me, guys. You're not my only client that I'm currently working with at that time. Now, if you want to say, Jamila, I just really need you to be my right-hand man for a couple of months, and I just need you to then you can send me 10 grand and I'll be whatever you want me to be. Okay. You got to pay for that kind of service. And then if you send me an email and I don't answer you back right away, then just wait for me to respond. You're going to get a response. Okay. You're going to get a response from me. It's just that I was probably either busy, maybe with another client. It's not to say that another client is not more important than you. But like I said, if somebody comes to me and, they're having anxiety attack after anxiety attack because they're dealing with a curse or they're being psychically attacked. I have to send and see a lot of y'all are, and a lot of people just want to pay for the work and you don't want to actually. So I'm gonna, from here on out, I'm not gonna do that no more. If I feel like you need a cleanse, I'm not gonna start any other work until you get a cleanse. I'm not gonna do it because I feel like there's a lot of people, and see, that is when you are almost practicing the, you're participating in witchcraft, but you looking your nose down at it. Hey, Mayra or Myra, you're looking your nose down at it, and that's not good. I do have an expedite option when it comes to readings, but some spell work, like literally, and I'm gonna give you guys, I'm gonna let you know that I've done the spell work for you. Now, if you pay for spell work and you just haven't heard from me and it's crickets and you say, hey, Jamila, I just want to make sure that you got my order, then there are times when sometimes that does happen. Okay, but again, if you're constantly getting lost in the shuffle, that can be a sign. But rarely does that ever happen to me. And if there's a problem and if I sense something, I'm going to contact you. But I want you guys to understand how important it is to trust in the process. Yeah, trust in the process. I have an expedite option on the spell work as well, but nobody asks for that. Nobody ever asks for that. That's something when people come and pay for spell work, you got to understand that when you go to sleep that night and when I go to sleep that night, the spirits are already doing the work. When I do the ritual, that's basically the end. That's the end of the work. When I actually do the ritual and finalize it and bind it. Okay? No, you're good, smarty girl. So, it's just what it is. And, I'm not gonna sit up there and lie to you and say, oh yeah, I did your work. Don't worry. No, if you contact me and you're like, hey, did you get that work done yet? And I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna be like, no, I didn't, but I got you. Okay. So I don't care what the situation is. If you paid me to do the work is going to be done. It is. It's going to be done. I have a very, very strong code of ethics that I use with my business. Very, very strong code of ethics. I realize that there's a lot of people that don't actually trust, witches or whatever. And don't come to me, and you can come and tell me. I get suspectful of the people that come to me and say, oh, I went to this other person and I spent thousands. See, I'm going to start getting suspectful. And the spirits are just like, really? So I've had people to do that or say that to me. And it's kind of like, it's really none of my business who else you went and paid. But if you got somebody else working on the same work, then you may want to tell me. But this is not a contest. I don't know if some of these people that come to us are like secret shoppers and they're comparing us. Do not compare me to another spiritualist. Do not contact another spiritualist and say, oh yeah, I hired Jamila to do this, because you are violating my covenant, because I have a covenant of confidentiality. And this is why my clients, they don't talk about what I do for them. And you bet not. You bet not. Don't do it. Don't even be tempted to do it. Don't even tell your family and friends about it. So that's another thing. Stop telling people about the spell work that you're getting, because they're going to be watching the time at the same time. And they're going to, yeah, Michelle, I do spell work all the time. They're going to start. So don't tell people about me and what I'm doing for you. This stuff, and I'm going to start telling people that, you agree to be confidential. I always mention it to people. Look, you don't go and you don't tell people that you're working with me unless you are referring me to somebody in your family. Now, if you have a referral and you say, hey, I've been working with Jamila and she's done this, she's done that, then that's okay. Michelle, you can contact me at the link below. The link is it's taraqueenjamila.thedivinemommy.com. And then I will also link it to you in the chat for you, if that'll make it easier. Okay. And love work, I only do love work at certain times. I don't do love work during certain times. I don't. It's, love work should only be done during a certain time of the month. You can run into a disaster. Okay. I'm not going to do a love spell when the moon is waning. I'm not going to do it. When you think about it, it makes no sense. The best time to do a love spell is from the new moon waxing going up to full. So even if I do the work for you, at the time when you were contacting me, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. It's still gonna take some time because it's got to go through the cycle. It's got to go through that cycle. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to understand that about spell work. And it's, I'm not being mean. I'm telling you how this stuff works. It's not about, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. No, that's not how I work. Hey, Randy Smiley. So I want you to have trust, because that is going to be the number one thing when it comes to spell work, is having trust. You cannot come to me and get a spell and be thinking this ain't going to work. You can't do that. And don't ask me if it's going to work. Don't do that, because if you ask me if it's going to work, I might just say, I don't want to do it, because your attitude is already in the wrong place. If I do a spell, it's going to work. Trust me. I have had 100% success on my court cases. I have not had any one of them fail yet, and I've taken some pretty serious court cases. Okay. And I understand, especially if you're getting love work or you're getting a certain type of work done, you just want it to be done and you just want the result right then and there. But you got to understand, you could be possibly waiting 3 to 6 months for it to work anyway, for it to actually manifest. So in the meantime, take your spiritual baths, take your salt baths, relax, meditate, stop thinking about all of the negative things that can transpire. Because sometimes my spirits are not going, like, I can pick up on you. All of my peeps that I do work on, I can pick up on you. My spirits are going to come and tell me exactly what's going on. And, I don't have to call you several times per day. There's some of my clients, I talk to them a lot. It just depends on who they are. It depends on what the situation is. Hello, Randy. I think I already said hi to Randy. Hey, Miss CB Walker. Hello. Thank you. So it's definitely going to work, but you just got to be patient, especially if I gave you a discount. And I don't do that. In fact, I'm not doing that. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you are a repeating client. But then again, the prices are set for a reason. They're set for a certain reason because, I use excess of my energy. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't charge enough for what I do for people. I don't. Compared to what other people will charge you, I don't charge enough. And part of the reason why I don't charge an arm and a leg is because I don't have to. I stay busy. So, honey, but I got, if you look at my inbox, I have over 7,000 messages in my inbox. Not 200, not 500. So there's a lot of people, they may have less clients, but they charge more. However somebody else does their work. But for me, I have a lot of clients. I do. And people are willing to wait because they love my results. Now, let me tell you something. When it comes to love work, I don't, I don't necessarily work with negative energies. I don't work with succubuses and demons and stuff for love work. I don't do that. And it still works. It still works. And I've done reunions on myself and they absolutely do work, with that person. It just depends on what the situation is, if it's a situation or if it's a relationship. So yeah, I'm really not that expensive. With the court cases, I can be though. With the court cases, I can be. And see that, and honestly, I'm gonna tell you the way that it works, honestly. If it's something that you're missing from your life and you go and you pay an authentic spiritualist, you're actually paying off a debt. You're paying off a spiritual debt. That's what the money is about. And see, I told y'all the only thing that we deal with is that money. That's all we deal with. We're not coming for your kids. You don't have to worry about something back. I have never, ever, ever had a client call me and say, Jamila, your spell backfired. Never. And it's because I go with the spirits. And if your spirits say, hey, we need to wait until April the 9th of 2019 to do your love work, then damn it, that's the day they're going to do it. And that's the best day to do it. Today was an amazing day. It was. I had an amazing day today. Okay. You don't think it's good to use bad spirits? Not in love work. Love work should be love. You should use love for love work and those energies. Now, see, I don't put love spells on people. I don't do that. Heck no, that's bad juju. I don't believe in that because that's domination. Even if you say, oh, but this person is a poor lost soul and they just need my love. No, I'll do a love opening spell. And then it will open you up to love. And if that person wants you, then they may come for you. But other than that, I don't do that. I will do reunions for an already existing relationship. Now, if I'm doing a reunion on a person that you put a domination love spell on, then, What I want you to know is that when you come and get your work done, it's done. So, I'm going to even, I'll send you a picture of the work, but even that is not necessary. Also, when it comes to follow-ups, I do follow up with my people. I send you guys a video. I send you guys pictures of the work. If I don't do that or delay to do that, it's probably because I was busy. Maybe I was sick. I get sick too every now and then. I don't get sick too often, but as a practitioner, especially on YouTube, I deal with quite a bit of stuff on YouTube, Beth, if you're not sure if God wants you to get tarot readings, then don't get them. You never, ever, ever want to deal with the spirit if you don't trust. A Babalao on Instagram told me today that he can get rid of negative energy around me for $200. Well, I charge $400. So that's actually cheaper than me. I charge $400 for my cleanses with the protection. And I do have the other one that doesn't include the protection for $300. But that sounds like that would be a cleanse. And a cleanse is totally different from a hex breaker. Sometimes I will recommend a cleanse before you even do the hex breaker. Because sometimes you have to prepare yourself to break that hex. Some people are not ready for that, and it can create like a cognitive dissonance in your spirit. But I've never had nobody do that because I always, when I write my petitions, I am very thorough on my petitions. And that's the hardest part of your work. And I do automatic writing with your spirit. So sometimes when you buy spell work, I'll already have the pen and the paper and I'll just be writing it out. Okay. But sometimes it takes a minute. It does. And I'm not talking about a year or 3 months or even 4 months, especially if I'm doing more than one spell for you. And especially if it's breakup work. Okay. Now, you want to allow some time to go by between that because those energies should not be combined. If I do the breakup work and then I normally do breakup work, full moon, new moon, when the moon is waning after a full moon. After you have a full moon, the moon is gonna wane. That means it's gonna get smaller in the visibility. And then when you're at a new moon, after we pass a new moon, it's going to go into a waxing moon, which means that the moon is growing. So you don't ever want to do any kind of love work when the moon is waning, except for breakup. If I do a love spell for you while the moon is waning, it's going to take a long time to work. And, I know that may sound very limiting or whatever, but it's the truth. And see, sometimes you got to have what's called time apart. There are some people, they'll just be going crazy. Oh, I got to get this person back now. No, you need to give that person a breather, especially if that person is communicating with you and they sense something is going on, because I've had clients do that. Especially if you're trying to break up a couple. I will break up a couple. I will. I guess that makes me evil. I don't break up just random people that I see, though. You have to pay for that. I will never. Y'all don't ever have to. I know it was some of these witches and they was like, you made my man leave me. And like, no, I didn't. Why would I waste my energy on something like that I'm not being paid for? So I don't just sit around and do free work for people that I don't get along with. Like, I don't know why people do that, So but it's very, very serious, and it's very, very serious for you to trust. Spirit will test you. I've had people do that. I've had people that have had readings scheduled, and for some reason, I'll just all of a sudden just be wiped out. And this happens rarely, but it happens. And then if I say, hey, listen, I done got sick, I don't feel very well, something's going on, and then I can sense that person is kind of upset, I'll explain it to them. I'll sit down and explain it to them, because and it's just the reality of it. It has nothing to do with drugs, alcohol, people getting their feelings. Oh, you was just drunk or something. No, I don't know. No. Okay. So love spell work. Remember this. Right now is the perfect time to contact me for love spell work. The moon is waxing. I've got 2 cinnamon stick love candles, love jars that I just did. And I think I'm going to save these for people getting love work. I got 2 of them that I just made. So I'm prepared and ready to go for any love work. This would be the perfect time. Banishing, hex work, hex breaker work. That can be banishing and any kind of protection, cleanses, that can be done at any time if you need it. But I prefer to do that when the moon is waning. It just makes more sense. Otherwise, you're going against the energy flow, and that's not good either. Yeah. Well, smarty girl, that they do the same thing, only except they don't necessarily do readings like that. And then you've got some people that they can read your situation, but they can't really read the outcome. So I can see the outcome. And I've had people contact me last year and got a reading and came back and said that's exactly what happened. So I don't go and make stuff happen like that. I can just tell you how it's going to end or how it's going to turn out. And so I do understand that that's a source of, I don't want to say jealousy, but it kind of perturbs people that I'm able to do all of that. But the reason why I can do it is because I can handle it. If you can't handle it, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Prophecies. Yep. They call it prophecies, is what the church calls it. And, most of my people that come to me, though, they attend church. Most of them. They go to church. They've been in the church their whole life. They was raised in the church. You know? Right. Exactly. And I don't necessarily agree with the certain type of witchcraft that they do, because I was actually talking about this earlier about the manner of which they do exorcisms. I don't agree with it. The church rarely does exorcisms. People like me are the ones that are doing the exorcisms. I can do an exorcism on myself. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Okay. Well, not all the time, but especially if I get myself caught up in some stuff, I'll do an exorcism incantation on myself. And I do clear myself and cleanse myself, once I'm done with the readings and stuff. And so it's definitely a process, but it's a process that you're just going to have to trust. And you definitely, please, God, please, by all means, do not discuss the spell work that I do for you with other people. You're doing things in reverse when you do that. That's called codependent. Oh, I got Jamila to do this spell work for me. And no, please don't ever do that. You keep that stuff confidential. You don't even, I wouldn't suggest going in. I have a client where I have clients that have told their husbands about the situation with me, and their husbands will freak out and get scared. And a lot of them will try to use that against you, but they can't. You know what I'm saying? They can't do it. My husband and I have been married for 22 years. We are 56 now. We were all over each other before I got old. Now he's done with me. He's a Capricorn. I wish he'd love me again. You know what, Beth? You should come and get a reading, because I work with clients like that have that issue, that have been married for years. So I have all different. I've got young clients. I've got older clients. I've got Black clients. I've got white clients. I've got clients from other countries. You know? I don't know, smarty girl. I think that I just wanted to reiterate to people how important it is for you to not tell people that you're getting spell work. Sometimes you can't even tell your family. If they want to know what you do, oh my God, how'd you do it? Just, unless you trust them. Because they'll start to try to work it. I've seen people, I said, well, damn, this person is working against the work that I'm doing for you. Especially when somebody's working against the work. You're right. You're right about that. Be careful what you wish for. Sometimes a door is closed so a window can be open. You're right. But just when you do it, when you get spell work from me, and these are most of my clients, they just, they just know that. But the ones that have doubt, those are the ones that I'm talking about. The ones that have doubt. And you can't doubt the situation. You have to trust. Your work is going to always be done when you get it from me. I just have that work ethic. But you just got to be patient and know that you've done it, and that's it. And see, I'll start getting suspectful of people. I'll start getting suspenseful of people when they doing stuff like that. You got to be patient. Oh Lord, these freaking animals that they're in my office and I'm writing. I'm sorry, they're in the back and I'm in my office. So yeah, just be patient and everything will work out. Don't ever tell me that you're worrying, because I'll be like, worrying for what exactly? Why would you be worried? You should be happy. You should be, you should be grateful. You should, because, I don't have to take your case when I take them. I don't have to. I don't. But I don't turn anybody away. I don't do that. Now, what I am going to start doing is that if I suspect that you need a cleanse, I'm going to say, hey, I'm not going to do anything for you until you get a cleanse. Whatever it is that you're doing, you need to do a cleanse with it, and we need to do the cleanse first, and then we'll worry about the other stuff later. And that's just the best way to do it. And that's just like, if I tell you, okay, I'm going to do your work on the new moon, and then you contact me the day before the new moon, and the day of the new moon, and the day after, and the day after. It's like, that's not how I work. I work with the spirits. I don't just go and light a candle and say bippity boop. It don't work that way. Jamila, when you order a reading, how long does it normally take for you to contact the person back? Usually it's within a couple of hours, but a lot of times it's within the first 5 or 10 minutes. I'll send you my booking link for you to schedule your appointment. So I follow up with my people immediately. As soon as you pay your money, you hearing from me, either by email or by phone. Unless I'm busy and you go to the scheduler and you don't see nothing for that day, then just know that I may have other things that I'm doing, Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. I need to do that. I usually explain this to people that, there's no exact timing, but like I said, if you're getting a cleanse, those take priority. Because, it just does. Other stuff, it's not that the spirits are just making you wait, but there's just some cases that take priorities over others. And it's not that they're taking priority over others, but if I have a client that has a court date, or if I have a client that has anything going on, I have to make sure that I reach that I get that work done before that, before the court date. So that's very, very serious when I'm dealing with you as opposed to other clients. So it's not that I make my clients wait or I'm putting one before the other. It's just that there's a time, it's timing for everything. So when I get work, a lot of people, if they get work, they get stressed out and, I gotta hurry up and get this done. I don't do that. I don't work that way. You know, a lot of people who have several clients and they be all stressed out, pulling their hair out. You got to do things, you got to take things one at a time. Because I can, all the time, I constantly have several clients that I'm working with at once. And that's not to say, oh, well, this is going to take until this time. It's not to say that it's going to take forever, but you do have to consider that, that you're not my only client whenever you're working with me. Wondering if you've been follow unwanted spirit to your home. No, I tend to get rid of unwanted spirits quickly. I never pay them any mind, as they're usually trying to trip me up or cause me to be self-conscious. I've had so many folks tell me that I need to watch what and how I say things. So I want you to be relieved. I want you to be happy. But see, a lot of people, if I can't guide you right, and see, I have some clients that, they will try to make that decision for themselves. And I'm going to quit allowing people to do that. If I can see that you need a cleanse, I'm going to say, I'm not doing nothing without a cleanse. Get a cleanse and come back in 30 days, and then we'll get into that other work. Is what I'm going to start telling people. Because other than that, and if you feel like you don't have enough money for that, to do that, then you can just tell me that, and then we can come up with some kind of payment plan, because I do have payment plan options. I do. Now, as far as with follow-ups, I had, back when I first started my business and put up my website, which was in 2016 was when I put up the website. And I used to, when I first started my business, I used to have a lot of time to sit down and do things. So, for example, with your lottery work, I actually just recently had to update that. And, normally people don't really say anything, but I had to update that because I definitely don't have time to sit down and do a 1 hour reading. I don't, not with the spell work. No, I don't. I used to have that kind of time, but you know what? Something that is worth it doesn't necessarily have to be a long, long time. So what I try to do is record a quick video, to where I'm sitting in front of your work and I'm showing you your work that I'm doing. But it definitely can't be a very, very long video. It just really depends. And see, sometimes that can be a compliment from the spirits. Because if I'm not going to give you what's not necessary with your work. So follow-ups, I'll usually text you, I'll email you to let you know that the ritual has been completed. But even if I don't do that, even if I don't do it right away, sometimes I'll do a ritual. And like, for example, I did one earlier today for a client. And I've got the candle sitting right on my desk. I probably won't send her the picture until tomorrow because I need to go upstairs and rest. Because not only have I did your spell work, but I've also had to deal with my dogs. I've had to deal with my children. I've had to clean up my house. I've had to deal with life in general. And then on top of that, I still have to eat, sleep, take a bath, go to the bathroom, and rest. And I have to have downtime. I do. I have to have downtime to where I am doing absolutely nothing, because if you don't balance that, so a lot of people don't have any balance. Give yourselves that balance that you need. You know, I'm not going to sit here and obsess over your spell work, and I don't want you to either. Am I Wiccan? No, I'm not Wiccan. A spiritual cleanse, smarty girl. I'm about a spiritual cleanse. If you got a hex on you, spiritual cleanses are only going to last for a little while. You're going to have to get that hex removed because that spirit is going to keep coming back to you. It don't really want to be around you when you're vibrating on a higher frequency, but it will try to come back. So you do have to remove the origin of, why you even needed a cleanse in the first place. Do you ever suggest that some people try to perform spells themselves? Sometimes I do, but not really, because a lot of people, they wouldn't really know how to do a spell themselves. A lot of people don't really understand spell work. They literally think that it's about lighting a candle, and that's not what it's about. Especially when you guys pay me your money at that time, I'm cleansing, I'm removing, I'm banishing, and I'm already doing the work on it. Yeah, Princess Royal, downtime is important. It is. It is very important for me to just have time to myself every day. And I work 7 days a week. I have not had a day off in like 3 months. I haven't. Now, in all fairness, I do work part-time, when you look at it. But, it's still days where, I have to go out and spend time with my family. I've been wanting to take the kids to the movies. And I am very telepathic, so I can hear what you're thinking sometimes when you're a client. Don't get scared, but I'm just saying. And I tell people, don't obsess. Don't do it. Don't obsess over your work, because I'm going to pick up on that. And it's just going to drain me. A lot of y'all will do things that are just mentally draining and mentally taxing all day. And there's some people, they just sit and think and think and think and obsess and obsess and obsess all freaking day. And it just makes no sense. I have a very strong work ethic. Very strong. I always have. And every single person that comes to my business, every single person that becomes a client, you are going to be treated well. You are going to get what you pay for. They don't want you watching this. That sucks. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can definitely pick up on stuff like that, especially when you contact me. And it's not that anybody's been disrespectful. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just telling you what works for and what works against your spell work. Because, I've actually had clients contact me and they'll say, well, have you done the work yet? We're in the middle of a waning moon here. I'm not going to do this work right now. This is not the right time. And some people, you literally have to go by that timing. Okay, so, they're trying to drain your battery from your tablet. That's not good. You better, girl, plug it up. Plug that thing up. Follow-ups are handled when I get everybody done, and then I can follow up with you. But if your work is so mentally draining, and if you're sitting there obsessing and you're obsessing and you're obsessing and you're obsessing, and then when you see me out on social media, Yeah, oh, well, she hasn't done my work yet, and she's out here doing a show about so and so and so. Or she's out here doing a show about ghosts, and I still have to run my business. I still have to run and operate my business 24/7. Your money don't stop nothing. Okay, because I mean, if you pay me money, that doesn't mean that's just all the money in the world. No, I have to still run my business. I have to still record readings. And I can tell when you're thinking about me. I'm very, very telepathic. I am a telepath. So I can tell when people are thinking about me. And then I can also tell, what is happening energetically. Because there's a lot of clients, they'll feel like, oh, well, I paid my money and I just, I don't want to see you anywhere. I just want to see you doing. Listen, you have got to be patient. Hey, Deja Poke. Hello. Hi. So just so that we are clear, you cannot control the day that your spell work is done on, unless you have a court case and you're telling me about what day the court is. Okay, that's important for you to tell me the dates and the times of your spell work. I'm sorry, of your court case or of your situation or whatever it is. You may have a test that you're trying to take. You may be doing whatever it is. Maybe you may be going on a job interview or something. Okay, can I pick up a name on Twin Flame? I'm not doing readings right now. I'm not. In fact, I didn't even do my daily tarot reading for today, which I probably should have. I didn't even do it for yesterday because, people having no trust is a big deal. I don't even deal with people at all that don't trust me. If you're somebody that doesn't trust me or other people, you can be a very dangerous person if you have a lack of trust. Because people that have a lack of trust, they're constantly thinking about why they can't trust somebody. They're constantly obsessing over what the situation is. And at the end of the day, that's your lack of trust. And lack of trust can really, really create disasters in your life. Okay, LOL, someone listen to my thoughts may need to seek help after my brain is quick and very random. I don't listen to people's thoughts. What I can pick up on is when people are thinking and talking about me. That's what I can pick up on is when you're thinking about me, I can feel it. I can tell when you're thinking about me. So yes, please trust. If you trust, then everything is relaxed. Everything is good. And love work in particular, love work in particular, you got to be able to rest and relax and chill out. That's one of the reasons why you have issues in your relationships and stuff, is because you can't chill out and relax. A lot of people have that problem. You don't even have to be doing anything. But people can just sense that, I want to call it a lion, but it's actually a demon, and it's just like, rawr, and it's just really, really, Mm-hmm. Hello, Sag 30. Hello. And especially if I'm really, really busy, guys. But remember when I told y'all that when y'all purchase the spell word, you're going to already feel the difference? Most of my clients that get cleanses and hex removers, they already feel the weight lifted off of them. So these things can sometimes work in advance. And usually they do all the time. Even when I order like a amulet or something, or I order something, it's usually already a connection with it. So it's almost like you're covered. You got to think of it kind of like insurance a little bit, to where you're covered, but only spiritually. And you want to trust that. and you want to walk in that trust. Otherwise, my spirits are going to say, hey, you know, this is something that this person's going to have to work through. And I'll ask you straight up, well, then, you know, what is the problem? Why do you feel such negativity about the work that you're getting done? And it may not be necessarily negativity about the work that you're getting done, but it may just be negativity, period. And then especially those of you that come to me and say, I got done wrong by a practitioner. A lot of times, you know, those things work out with those people. A lot of the times they do. Most of the time they do. But when a person is complaining about another practitioner, it might have been, you know, how you are perceiving the spiritual work. And see, a lot of practitioners don't really know how to handle that, and they'll get really stressed out. And I don't get stressed out. Not over spell work, not over work. That I can take several people at the same time. No, I don't take one client at a time. No, I don't. I don't do that. I take the case, and I'm usually done with everybody within that moon cycle. It just depends on what's going on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely, spirit starts working on that immediately. And then a lot of times what I have to do is I have to deal with those negative spirits. In particular, when I'm doing hex removal work. And I just do one client per day, or either sometimes even I'll wait a few days. Sag 30, I don't understand what you mean. Please verify, Oracle, that my finding is true. Even after all the many confirmations I got, I'm still in disbelief, and wrote Huff Paranormal a 4-page letter like Aaliyah. It's miraculous. About what? What findings? Huff Paranoia, he uses a ghost box to communicate with spirits. And he just recently did one for Nipsey Hussle. He did one for him. So I'm not here to bring you problems. I'm here to bring you comfort, and I'm here to bring you peace. And if you're not at peace, then my spirits can pick up on that. And this work is supposed to bring you peace, because you've done it. You've already done it. You've already paid a practitioner for the work. It is done. Once I get the ritual done for you, I'm just going to contact people and say your ritual is done. I'll send you pictures, you know, of the situation. As far as like follow-up videos, I'm still going to do that. But if it's not necessarily necessary, then I won't. But a lot of times I will, because it helps me to keep track of everything. Okay. I'll have to do a reading on that, Sag 30. I'll have to do a reading on Nipsey before I can say all that. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, you too. It was good talking to you too. So I want you to change how you view this, because a lot of people love to go to witches and they love to pay us for work, but then some people will be in that mode to where, you know, they'll just have all of these negative thoughts about the work. And then especially if you're, because some of my clients can be very bullheaded. Some of them can be very, very bullheaded. And they don't necessarily want to listen. You know, rarely do I have that though. And most of the time, everybody that I do their work for them and they walk away happy. You want me to do a reading on Aaliyah? But other than that, I got everybody's stuff done. Before I send your bath salts out to you, I always charge them with a candle. I don't just send them out. I charge them with a candle. So, everybody's stuff is done and, everything is fine. I don't exactly know why I've had, a couple of people and they're just like, and, it's like, well, and for example, the Setmore link. I've had a couple of people say, well, why does it say a different price on the Setmore link? Those are not updated prices. Those prices were from 3 years ago when I first put up my business. So I'm going to go in there and update them, but you don't pay through there. So there's really no reason for the prices or for any price to be listed. But those are just, I used to charge 25 and 30 for my 30-minute readings when I first started working, in this business. And it makes sense because when you're new, and I was new to doing this, okay, either a Leo or left eye. I will definitely get a lot of those requests done for you guys. I've got to get finished work for clients this week. But, just to let you know, when you pay me your money, that doesn't stop my show. I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going. I don't get a client and then I stop and then I don't do that. Because I still have to run my business 24/7. I don't do this part-time. I do this full-time. Like, well, I don't want to say I don't, because I already said that I work part-time hours, technically 7 days a week, but I don't have an additional job along with this. This is all that I do. So I'm not chasing no kind of waterfalls. Yeah, I know that's right. So as long as you guys know that, we'll be cool. And just because somebody does something really quick doesn't mean that the results are going to be what you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to be afraid to reach out to me, no, but I just want to explain how this works. And then that way you all can relax and then I can relax, because none of this stuff is going to work if you're not relaxed. I never do things out of desperation. Never. Never. Man, that's not even a good mind frame to be in when you're doing rituals for people. I would never ever take that to my spirits and say, hey, I'm doing this ritual. And I actually got done with somebody today, and the candle is going beautifully. And when I get your work done for you, and then you assume that I haven't, and then that's when I start saying, hey, you're gonna have to change your attitude about the situation. How do we reach you for general questions? It's at the website or either queenjamila941@gmail.com. Just go either to the website. The easiest thing to do to get a reading is just go to the website. You don't have to contact me and ask my permission to go and purchase a reading. You don't have to do that. You can go to the website anytime you want. Thank you, Deja Poke. Thank you. All right. So anyway, I'm going to go because I need to go and clean up behind my dogs and get them put up for the night. I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful evening. And just remember, when you're dealing with spell work, it's trust and faith. That's just it. It's just what it is. It's trust and faith. And that is what's going to make your spell work manifest quickly. That is what's going to make your work get done quickly. And I know I've seen other spiritualists talk about this. I have, because, you know, and I don't necessarily come whining to you guys about the certain energies that I can get from your spell work. Sometimes I just deal with it, you know. You're welcome, Sag 30. I will see y'all later, okay? All right, cool, smarty girl. You'll send me an email tonight. I will see y'all later, okay? Love, light, and blessings to y'all. Love y'all.